Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Speak Black Woman podcast. I am super excited because if you know anything about me, you know that I love me some Black women. I mean, Black women who also speak. That is my specialty. So if you're brand new to the Speak Black Woman podcast, you are in for a treat. What I do is I make sure that I highlight, I amplify, and I illuminate the voices of Black women in business who are also using public speaking as a strategy to super serve people like you. And for those of you who are new to me, my name is Quinn Conyers, and I happen to be the host of this podcast, as well as I broadcast the brilliance of Black women in business. I show them how to turn conversations into cash so they can profit from public speaking. Now, today, you know what? I can't even say this is a guest. I gotta say this is a friend. She's been in my wedding. I mean, literally, she's probably my girl crush on a Wednesday. She just be showing up online. Fabulous. And if you are all about using Instagram or building a community or even a tribe of followers that you really want to keep engaged and stay engaged, you really, really want to pay attention because Candice Denise is really using her voice in a very creative way. Like some people are just speaking, but you can use your voice to tell a story, to show a story, to add certain graphics and things like that. So I'm really excited to have her on the show as we dive into her journey and learn how she, as a Black woman in business, is using her voice in every aspect of her business. So without further ado, let me go ahead and bring up Miss Candice Denise. Hello, hello, hello. How are you?
Hey, Quinn, I'm doing amazing. How are you doing?
I am awesome and amazing now that you and I are having this conversation. So I know that there are many things that you do. And I want to start off with saying this. You identify as an expert, authority, content coach, and creative director. What does that mean?
Yeah, right. Like that's a lot. So essentially, the creative director side of me is I work with female entrepreneurs to help them produce and stage their brand photo shoots. So I'm the creative mind behind how do they take their brand story, right? What they get to speak about all the time, and how do they put that visually into some type of imaging that they're going to use to market themselves, whether it's for their website, for their content, for their, brochures, their media kit, etc. Everyone has to have visuals to really position themselves as the experts that they are. So that's the creative director side of me. But the expert authority content coach side is that I help the same female entrepreneurs figure out how to take their content and marketing to help them go from a hidden gem to an in-demand expert. How to start using content marketing to be seen more as an expert authority versus just as a same old same like everybody else, because these social media spaces are crowded, right? Like there's a lot happening out here in this digital world. But that doesn't mean that your place is not being held for you, but it's about how do you show up? How do you use your marketing to really find your voice out here in this space? And so that's what I teach them in my expert authority content coaching.
I love that. I mean, that's a transformation right there. If you want to go from being a hidden gem to an expert authority, I was like, yeah, you saw me. I was looking for a clapper because I'm excited on these. And there it goes. Listen, you got to come out. People don't be ready, right? I was like, yes. Hidden gem, to expert authority. And I love it because you're absolutely right. It is a lot of space and it gets crowded. Like, oh my gosh, another reel, another this, another that. How can I stand out? So I love the fact that you are, doing that for female entrepreneurs, which is so, just awesome and amazing. Now, in addition to, doing the content coaching and the creative directing, I know that you have over literally years and years of event planning experience. And you also have something called the CD Creative Loft. How do you feel like your experience as an event planner has kind of been beneficial to you in content coaching and creative directing right now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So you're right. I have 11 plus years as an event planner and in my former life, but I always tell people it never leaves you when you've done something like that for so long. So here's the thing. My gifts have never changed, even if my talents have. So my gift is helping people. How I was helping them then was the talent of event planning. Now my talent is in creative directing and coaching. And so what I've taken from the event planning side of my life is when it comes to creative directing photo shoots, The reason that a lot of women tend to work with me is because not just for the creative aspect, but for the logistics aspect, because I understand details. I understand how to make puzzle pieces, right? I wore my necklace with the puzzle piece today just for that, because I make puzzle pieces fit together for you. Because a lot of times these female entrepreneurs are busy, they're on the go. Same thing that happened with my couples or my clients when I planned events for. They didn't have time to put all the pieces to their event together. So now I put the pieces to your photo shoot together. I produce it. I find the location, the vendors, all the players that we need. I think through all the things like, what are the props that you're going to need? What is the look that you're going to need to have? Just all of the pieces that people don't have time. So that's what I was able to pull from event planning over to my creative directing. But as far as my coaching, I was able to pull over the fact of being able to connect with people. Because as an event planner, you build relationship with these clients, especially if you've been working with someone for 6, 7, 8 months. Same thing with coaching. You have to build a relationship with your clients, which is why I don't work with large groups of women. I do very small, intimate groups, because coaching oftentimes is bigger than the pain point that they're coming to you for. Sometimes it's deeper rooted things, and you have to be able to have that time to connect and learn about them so that you can really help them gain more and understand what it is that they need. So I think the relationship part of my event planning life has helped me in the coaching side, and the logistics part of my life has helped with the creative directing side.
Makes perfectly good sense. It's almost like transferable skills, right?
Oh,
It's almost
absolutely.
like, nothing you've done in the past, it's usually can be a foundation that you can transfer it over, to a new experience. So
Yeah.
no, that is really, really good stuff. I'm glad that you were able to share that. And I've had the opportunity to witness kind of some of your magic as well. So I can definitely attest, this girl know what she talking about. She know what she doing. So I absolutely love that. And if you guys been following, the Speak Black Woman, podcast, The Tribe, you do know that on June 5th, we are celebrating the birth of my second book, which is called Speak Black Woman, How Women in Business Can Profit from Public Speaking. You can get it online at Amazon, Target, and even Barnes and Nobles, waiting for Walmart to get back to us. Now, come on, Walmart, y'all playing, right? So if you want to be a part of the celebration, you can definitely go to speakblackwoman.com. You can pre-order it, or you can get it from any of those locations. Just so you know, if you order directly from me at speakblackwoman.com, I'll even autograph it for you. So again, if you order from Target or Barnes and Nobles or Amazon, you'll get it as well, but this won't have my John Hancock, right? So if you want my signature, you go ahead and order it from speakblackwoman.com. And again, I am just excited about that project. And again, speakblackwoman.com. So thank you, Candice, for letting me kind of share what's going on in my world. But I want to talk to you about your voice, because I feel like you are probably one of the few people who I know who are doing very well with dominating on Instagram. And why do you think it's more important when someone is, creating content to use video, or to use just stagnant images? Because there's some videos I had to watch. I'm like, oh, this is funny for real. People call it. She got skits, y'all. Like, very talented. I got to take notes. I was like, okay, that was 2 different angles. Words popped up. Okay, I'm going to be able to do it, but I watch and I'm very entertained. So, when we talk about using our voice, I feel like you have used your voice very well, leveraging the Instagram platform. Why are you using certain video versus just putting up various images and posts with words on it?
Oh my gosh. Here's what I learned. Any coach has had a coach. And I believe in investing in yourself. I have invested in some amazing coaches who have helped me along my journey. And one of the things that I learned is that video marketing is literally one of the fastest ways to connect with your audience and build an authentic community, because people get to hear directly from you. They get to learn you. They get to feel your energy. They get to just ask you questions, even when you're doing lives and things like that. It's something that doesn't get to transfer always in a static image, as you said, right? Because a static image is, you can create that to be whatever you want it to be. You can make that copy say what you want that copy to say. But when you're on a live video where you're talking, you're not perfect, right? Like the imperfections are going to come out, whether that's how you speak or if that's like, a quirky way about you. Those are the things that a photo can't do for someone. Being able to have that connection with you, heart to heart. Humans love connection. And that's something that video marketing allows. And I think that that's been a great tool for me to be able to showcase my personality, because I know that my personality is a lot bigger than an image, and I want people to be able to connect with that. I like having that relatable factor, and video allows you to do that in a lot of ways. It allows you to have this, this authentic connection with your audience that the static image can't do.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. You're so right. And I think that very few, there's a viral photo, but there's viral videos all the time. So I think that we can learn from that. Like, it's a reason why a video goes viral versus a photo. So I think that you made a really, really good point there. And you're right. I think, sometimes the essence of who we are personality wise can't be captured in a photo. We can get a glimpse, but like, again, when you can actually hear someone and see someone moving in real time, it's a completely different experience. So no, that's good stuff. I think you're spot on with that. So I know you have a community of lofters, right? Because girl, I've been following you, right? I know you got a community of lofters, but more importantly, you just launched something brand new. Like what, yesterday? What did you just launch yesterday? And then we'll come back over to the lofters. Like which is like, I'm just trying to keep up. Do I need a calendar? What do I need to do?
I'm out of control right now. No, I'm in the most amazing space of life. And when you feel like that, you have to run with it. Yes. I believe that when you're creative, that it's okay to be multifaceted as long as the gift keeps coming out. And so I have now launched the Glow CEO community, which I'm so excited about. And essentially Glow stands for Grow, Love, Own, and Win. And so what we are is the wellness haven for female entrepreneurs, because what we believe in here at the Glow CEO community is we're helping female entrepreneurs deliberately prioritize themselves before their businesses daily so that they can glow. Because here's the thing, we take care of our businesses, but the business of us is being neglected. Our wellness, our self-care, our self-love, because we're so busy chasing dreams, building 6, 7, 8-figure businesses, making amazing teams and building products and programs and just doing all of these great things with our businesses. But we are still women, and we still have to make sure that our wellness is a priority, because a lot of times we wake up thinking about our businesses. We go to sleep thinking about our businesses. We spend the whole day thinking about our businesses. But where are you in that day? Exactly. Where are you? And so I am a firm believer, and I saw this happen in my own life. And so it came out of the birthing of me was like, wait, because if I am well, I believe if I'm well, my business is going to be greater. If I'm operating at my highest, my business is going to be far greater impacted, right? And so we've got to stop operating on 0 and start working on 100, but prioritize us. And so we're a wellness community that we want female entrepreneurs to come over here, let their hair down. They don't feel like they have to be on all the time, because we do have to be on. We get to have those authentic conversations where other female entrepreneurs understand. They get what you're going through because they're there too, right? We can honestly say, you know what? I have been neglecting my self-care, my self-love. I've been loving on this business, but I haven't been loving enough on myself. So we're going to be giving out, we're going to have, as we call it, glow up experiences, which are, guest experts, webinars, all kinds of just things that are going to help you prioritize yourself deliberately every day. Because here's the thing, people think self-care and self-love is a vacation thing, a weekend thing, a holiday thing. My, as we call it, the glowosophy I came up with, the glowosophy, yeah. The glowosophy is the art of female entrepreneurs prioritizing themselves before their businesses every day. So I want you to find your moment that matters to you every day. What is that? Like yesterday, I literally wore my bathing suit under my clothes as a reminder to stop working at a certain time, because the thing that mattered to me was to sit by my pool before this day ended. And I did. So, how do you incorporate self-love every day? We've got to stop putting all this pressure on our vacations to give us the release we need. We're not releasing every day because we don't know how to. So that's what our community for is, to show you how to deliberately prioritize yourself so that you can continue to keep being amazing.
Listen, I love it. I think that makes perfectly good sense. And then we're always like waiting, wishing, hoping to get to that space. So I love the fact that you are, prioritizing and also just making it a community and a safe space. And what I've always admired about you is just your ability to pivot before it became sexy. Like, I think a lot of people, they literally get married to an ideal. Oh, well, I've been doing this since 1997 and I don't want to look like I'm all over the place. And we talk about the noodle analogy. Like, one of these noodles is going to stick. stick, so how have you given yourself permission, right? Because I feel like people really be getting married to ideas and it's like, sis, it's not working. It's okay to change it up. You're like, no, it's like a bad relationship. No, we're going to make it work. Like, no, it hasn't been working. It's going on a decline. Try something different. It might not be as fulfilling to you, but I feel like watching your journey, even with Glow and the creative loft and some other things, Soar High, Dream Big, that I just remember, like, how did you give yourself permission to kind of like do what felt good without like kind of judging yourself or beating yourself up?
Yeah. It's funny. I gave myself permission a while ago when I remember applying for this position when I was working for someone, and they said to me, I was feeling really nervous about my resume because it had so many different things on it. And they said to me, actually, I love that your resume has variety because it shows me that you're good at a little bit of everything, and that's necessary. And so that right there gave me the first piece of permission, like, right, that is not a bad thing because I don't have the same thing forever. We're living in different times, people back years ago had to do the same thing forever because they weren't allowed in some spaces, or they didn't have the ability to have the opportunities that we do. So that was something that I realized is like, I'm not living in the times that were prior to me. Secondly, I also understood that, as I mentioned before, my gift is still consistent, even if my talent has continued to change. So yes, my title has changed in things that I'm doing, or projects have changed, but my goal of what I'm doing has never changed. Helping people has never changed. So it would be problematic for me if I felt like, well, my gifts are always changing. It's like, no, Candice, your gift has always been the same. And why are you not allowing that? Why are you hiding your wings? Why are you not giving that an ability to fly? Right? Seasons get to change, the trees get to change, the atmosphere gets to change. I'm a part of this universe. So why can I not? So that was kind of like, yes, you're right. Everything around you is changing and you are a part of this world. You should be able to change as well.
I love it. I think you're so right. I think that analogy too, just like even the year changes. It's not winter all year long. Like you said, the season
changes.
The tree. So I love that. And I love that you were giving yourself permission, and seeing things, from a different perspective. So that's really, really good insight. I really like that. And you mentioned, and I know this as well, that you are a woman of many talents. So, and that's what I just think is so cool. So I want to go a little bit left, not a little bit left, but just a little bit, right? Most people might know you about, the content creator, but let's dig into those talents, right? Because I've seen some talented Candice Denise in real life, right? And again, I think it's so cool because I feel like all your gifts and talents you can pull into the work that you're doing. But let's talk about some of the talents that people might be following you or in your Glow program or in, they're a lofter and be like, I didn't know Candice did X, Y, and Z. So I want to bring up some of them talents since you done mentioned that you are multi-talented that people just might not know about you. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So, I mean, something that you're very aware of that many people aren't is that I have a background in acting. And so that comes out very much so in everything, which is always so funny because people are like, oh my gosh, you're funny, or, you're whatever they may say. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you have no idea. Like, I literally kind of give you guys the, I guess, cleaner version of me.
PG. They ain't ready for rated R. Right. Give them the PG version. Gotcha.
I try, but I'm like, I am a hoot and a holler and a ham. And I know that. And so the acting side of me is definitely something that people be surprised about. Another part of me that I just started recently sharing was that I went to art school for fashion merchandising. And so that has a lot to do with why my image changes a lot, like physically why I always change my looks, because I went to an art school. And so, learning about style and wardrobe and things like that, I was open to just different types of looks and things. So that has helped people say, oh, I get it. Now it makes a lot of sense. So that art piece of me is something that people probably would not know, is that I studied that. So, people will say, oh, you're like really stylish. I'm like, that's an eye of the beholder. It's stylish for me, but it's really just because of my background. So those are probably two things that people wouldn't know. Those are probably the best PG things for this podcast.
Listen, let me find out. I got to do a Speak Black Woman After Dark.
Yeah, please. that. I got
Listen,
some.
after dark, that might be getting a little interesting. No, I love that. And thank you for sharing that because I always like to do a little bit of hidden gems, something that goes what I call beyond the bio, right? Like something that we can kind of dig into. So I want to bring us to this part of the podcast where I always like to know, I call this breakdown, through breakthrough, right? And a lot of times we see where you are, you're awesome, you're amazing, you know what I mean? Edges snatched, eyebrows on fleek, not a hair out of place, right? But I know that it's always been a journey. So can you tell us like maybe what was a breakdown moment that you was like, oh my gosh, I don't even recognize Candice Denise in the mirror. And then you're where you are now. Because sometimes we all got, valleys and peaks, but we don't really want to talk about the valleys. So for the women who are listening right now, I'm like, oh wow, she's really got it together. I want to show the human side of us, right? Let's talk about a time where there was a breakdown in your business or a breakdown when you didn't have as much self-love or you weren't a self-advocate. And then what changed around that kind of broke you through to basically be where you are right now?
Yeah. Great question. I love it. You're right, right? People need to know all the pieces of the story to really be able to appreciate. Because I often tell people every crooked path that I've had in my life has led me straight to where I'm supposed to be.
Right.
Literally. So I would say probably something that was really big for me was when I started falling out of love with event planning. I was in a place where I knew that it was time to change because I did not view what I was doing with a sense of love and passion any longer. And it wasn't because of the people, it was because of something that I was personally dealing with. So a lot of my clients were couples, were weddings. And I was in a place at that time where I was still single. And so a lot of times people would say, oh my gosh, like, so you do this so well. Are you married? And, after having that question asked to you so many times, it started making me think about my own life and why I wasn't or where I was and what was going on. And it really took me to some places that I had to deal with some childhood things, about some relationship things with my dad. And so my self-love wasn't so people see the self-love that they see now, but it was a journey because what I realized is that there was a piece of self-love lacking there. And I needed to address it. I had walked away from it. I had tried to sweep it under the carpet, but it kept coming up to me and it came up in my business. And so therefore I walked away. I decided this is not something I can do anymore, because it's got me feeling some kind of way about me. And that's not fair to my clients. And so after 11 years, I closed those doors. And that's not really something that I often talk about, but it's something that's really big for me. I actually wrote about it in a book that I did with some other event planners years ago. But I remember going away. I said, you know what? I need to go on a personal retreat. And I went away for a weekend and did like a staycation in Virginia. And it was New Year's Eve. And I checked myself into a hotel that weekend. I made dinner reservations for myself. Like I got dressed. I did this whole thing. Like I have got to find a way to give the wholeness that I need to me. I cannot put this on someone else.
Yes.
And I remember going to the restaurant and the person said, so are you waiting for someone else? And I said, no, it's just party of one, just me. And, I did that and I went to my room, put my pajamas on. I watched the ball drop down. I popped my champagne and it literally hit me like an epiphany at that moment that I was like, I am waiting for someone else to choose me when all along God was like, you needed to choose you. It literally was like, when that ball dropped, the moment happened. And that is, I feel like when my self-love kicked into overdrive and I was like, never again will I not choose me. And so now I probably choose myself. I'm the other extreme, but it was so big because that's why I want people to understand like who you are as a woman can affect your business. It can affect, you can't not be a female entrepreneur and not have things about your business affected, right? And it may not affect it the same way mine did, but we have to take care of us. We have to take care of us so that we can be able to be great for our businesses. We're the engines that keep that car running. And if your engine goes down, your car stops running. And so at that point, my car stopped running because my engine wasn't taken care of at the time. But that was definitely a pivotal moment for me and life changing, and has probably led to everything everyone has seen since then.
No, that's good stuff. And I'm glad that thank you for being vulnerable, and sharing that, because I feel like people look at, we didn't wake up like this. We work for this, right? There's always, something that goes in. And I think you're right. A lot of people are waiting for someone to treat us a certain way, not understanding when we treat ourselves a certain way, then our standards are different. And then people can either conform or you can back up, right? So, but what I'm not going to do is be eating at McDonald's, and I'm used to taking myself out to fine restaurants. Okay. So no, I love that. And I think that is just so cool. And what an experience, like, just for you. So I'm just like, I'm loving it. And glow, I think just an appropriate word, like pro, like Candice knows this. I'll be sending y'all her pictures, y'all. I'll be like, yes, her shoulder. I like her shoulders, y'all. Anything. I just be like, yes, I just be loving it, because it's just good to see. It's good to watch. So we are actually winding down. Doesn't 30 minutes go so fast? Goodness gracious. So if people are like, Candice is amazing, she's dropped so many jewels, where can people go to learn about Lofters or, your Glow community? Where can people connect with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are two main places that I'm always in the streets. I'm always in the Instagram streets. So it's easy to find me there. So you can go to Candice Denise. That's literally Candice, Denise. Or you can start following our community now, Glow CEO, at Glow, and then She, SHEEO, Glow She. So it's just basically the female version of CEO. So SHEEO. Either way, please follow Glow SHEEO and follow me on Candice Denise as well. Or you can go to my website, buycandicedenise.com. Pretty simple.
Okay. I'm gonna after the interview, I'm gonna go to Glow CEO and get my life together. I'll probably be clutching my pearls like, ooh, I need to do more of this. Ooh, I need to do more of that. Good stuff.
We haven't even put all the content out yet. Literally just the Instagram page launched yesterday, but the membership launch is next week. So
okay. Okay, that's awesome. That's awesome. And do you have any last minute words? Because I really do love, just the whole, you being super intentional about self-love and being a self-advocate, but more importantly, making yourself a priority. I feel like it's something, you say like, I'm a true wellness and self-love advocate. What would you say to women who are just going for the goal? They want to make 6 figures. They want to make 7 figures. Any last minute results on, you can get there, sis, but you don't want to get there and be burnt out, 500 pounds overweight, single and unhappy, right? Like, what would you say to that woman who is very ambitious? She's very motivated. She wants to do well, but to be honest with you, she knows she's not practicing as much self-care and self-love as she needs to.
Yeah, I would probably say to her, as you said, right, you don't want to be at that end of the finish line and look this way or feel this way. I would ask, what's the why? Mm-hmm. Why are you doing this? Because long after the business stops or the tribe, the community goes away, your why is going to be the thing that keeps you going. So you have to know, why are you working to get the 6 figures, the 7 figures, the 8 figures, or to go on these, so if that is so that I can have more flexibility in my life and things like that, then understand, if that's your why, then you got to take care of yourself to get to that why. You've got to be able to really make yourself a priority, because if that's the case, then none of this is worth it. It's pointless. Yeah. It makes no sense to grind. I don't even believe in grinding and hustling. Not at 41. No longer am I about that culture. I think that that's a culture that has kept people in bondage and has made people not understand. You have got to reset. Bodies have to reset. They need time. Those cells, we go to sleep because those cells are restoring themselves overnight, so that you can be great for the next day. So I would just ask, what's your why? And if you feel like the way that you're running is going to allow you to really experience your why.
That's good stuff. And you remind me of I think it was an Instagram post or a Facebook post says, I don't want to be booked and busy. I want to be paid and peaceful.
That's it.
I was like,
that's it.
Paid and peaceful? Like, it you know how it just hits your spirit a little different. I was just like, I want to be paid and peaceful. Like, I like that. Like, that was really, really good. So I appreciate your insight. Listen, y'all, another awesome and amazing episode of the Speak Black Woman podcast. You heard her. You can visit her at buycandicedenise.com if you want to learn more about her community, her tribe, what she has going on. More importantly, if you haven't already done so, make sure you go to your phone and subscribe to the Speak Black Woman Woman podcast, either your Android or your Facebook. Just put Speak Black Woman, you'll see it. And if you love Candice's episode or any other episodes that you happen to experience during your listening leisure time, go ahead and leave us a review. And if you want to keep up with me and everything that I have going on regarding the Speak Black Woman movement, all you got to do is go to speakblackwoman.com. And if you want to purchase a copy of the book or attend the Speak Black Woman experience that's happening on June 5th, guess where you can go? You guessed it, speakblackwoman.com. That's all I need you to do. So again, Candice Denise, thank you so much for sharing your words, your wisdom, and your nuggets. I appreciate you sharing your thought leadership with us today.
Thank you so much for having me, Quinn. Always a pleasure, my friend.
All right. Thank you so much. All right, y'all. I'll see you next time on the next issue or episode of the Speak Black Woman podcast.